For months, astronomers have been tracking a silent traveler gliding through our solar system, an interstellar visitor unlike any we've ever encountered. Known as 3 Atlas, it arrived from beyond the Milky Way's boundaries, crossing the cold, endless gulf of interstellar space. But just as the world readied itself to bid farewell to this enigmatic object, something unprecedented unfolded. As 3I Atlas neared its closest approach to the Sun, telescopes worldwide captured an anomaly so bizarre that even the most skeptical scientists stood speechless. Its light altered, its structure transformed, and then it performed an act no natural object has ever been observed doing. Tonight we'll examine what the James Webb, Hubble, and ground-based observatories just recorded, and why Avi Loeb himself, one of Harvard's most respected astrophysicists, calls this anomaly potentially the most profound discovery in modern astronomy. Everything started when Spain's 2-meter twin telescope gathered 159 exposures of 3 Atlas while it approached solar conjunction, the moment it would slip behind the Sun from our viewpoint. What those images uncovered was nothing short of impossible, a thin jet of material firing straight toward the Sun. Every comet studied before releases dust and gas that solar wind drives outward, creating a tail always pointing away from the star. But this one was reversed, a countertail, as though the object were repelling the Sun's influence instead of yielding to it. The discovery was swiftly verified by both the Hubble Space Telescope and Hawaii's Keck Observatory, which spotted a diffuse glow stretching toward the Sun, not away. For any comet, that behavior is physically impossible, the equivalent of watching smoke drift against the wind. The anomaly didn't merely defy expectations. It defied the laws of solar physics. Some researchers speculated the material might resist radiation pressure, perhaps made of unknown elements or alloys reacting differently to solar photons. Others proposed something even bolder, that the tail wasn't natural at all, but an emission or exhaust from a controlled mechanism inside the object itself. As further data arrived, astronomers understood this was no ordinary cometary body. The mass and gravity readings of 3 Atlas didn't align. According to its trajectory, the object should have weighed far more than its observed motion indicated. Put simply, it moved as if lighter than it appeared. Even more puzzling, it rotated unusually slowly, completing one full spin every 16 hours, under normal conditions enough to destabilize any typical rock or ice body. Yet 3 Atlas stayed perfectly intact. Theories collapsed one after another. Some experts suggested it might be hollow, an idea backed by subtle shifts in its reflected brightness. If correct, we weren't viewing a solid rock but a shell, possibly metallic, drifting through space. Its nickel and iron content, revealed through spectral analysis, ran significantly higher than any comet or asteroid in our solar system. Combined with traces of cyanide compounds, rare even in interstellar dust, this makeup pointed to something far beyond natural formation. As these findings surfaced, debate erupted across the scientific community. Could 3 Atlas be artificial? Or was this an entirely new class of interstellar object shaped by physics we haven't yet discovered? To bring order to the growing chaos, Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb and his team introduced something unprecedented: the OEP scale, or Object of Extraterrestrial Probability, inspired by the Torino scale used for asteroid threats. This ranking system classifies interstellar visitors from level 0 to level 10 according to the number and severity of unexplained anomalies. Level 0 matches fully natural objects like 2I/Borisov, while level 10 would mark confirmed extraterrestrial technology with global impact. Loeb assigned 3I Atlas level 4, calling it an object with multiple persistent anomalies and no satisfactory natural explanation after thorough review. According to Loeb's model, that places it in the zone of potential technosignatures. In other words, a 40% chance, yes 40%, that its origin may not be natural. That figure sent shock waves through both the scientific community and social media. While most astronomers brushed it off as speculation, Loeb's earlier predictions about Oumuamua, another interstellar enigma, suddenly carried fresh weight. If 3 Atlas truly behaves as the data indicates, we may be witnessing the second confirmed visitor from beyond our galaxy, and possibly the first that was built, not born. Just as interest peaked, 3 Atlas vanished. Not destroyed, but concealed. As it slipped into solar conjunction, the object aligned perfectly with the Sun from Earth's perspective, rendering it invisible to telescopes for several weeks. It felt as if the universe had drawn a curtain across the most mysterious performance in modern astronomy. During that interval, observatories fell silent, waiting for its return. NASA's funding delays and the European Space Agency's data embargo left the public with nothing but speculation. Meanwhile, simulations showed that once it reemerged from behind the Sun, 3I Atlas would head straight toward Jupiter's orbital path, an eerie coincidence leaving astronomers both thrilled and uneasy. The projected route wouldn't cause an impact, but it would bring the object alarmingly close to several probes, including ESA's JUICE mission and NASA's Europa Clipper, both potentially passing through its ion tail. If that occurred, we might finally collect direct samples of its mysterious material, or detect something far stranger. Some scientists believe the anti-correlated jet could reactivate in this phase, generating electromagnetic signatures we've never seen. Others fear the opposite, that once behind the Sun, 3I Atlas might alter course completely. If it does, it won't merely rewrite physics. It will redefine what we believe about intelligence beyond Earth. After nearly 6 weeks of silence, the moment the world awaited finally came. As 3I Atlas emerged from behind the Sun, dozens of telescopes across Earth, the Moon, and orbit swung toward the coordinates predicted months earlier. But what they observed wasn't what anyone anticipated. Instead of fading as most comets do after perihelion, 3 Atlas shone brighter, much brighter. In fact, its albedo, the measure of reflected light, had risen by nearly 400%. Its apparent magnitude climbed beyond all models, meaning it somehow reflected far more sunlight than its surface area could possibly allow. Infrared readings showed its temperature hadn't risen. It had stabilized even while receding from the Sun. Something inside was regulating its heat, emitting and absorbing energy in perfectly balanced cycles. Then came the strangest detail. The anti-correlated jet that once pointed toward the Sun had vanished. In its place appeared a thin, pulsating beam of faint ultraviolet radiation extending sideways into deep space, steady and rhythmic like a cosmic heartbeat. To observers, it looked deliberate, controlled. The world observatories started logging every pulse. The pattern wasn't random. It repeated every 247 seconds exactly, as though the object had begun broadcasting something. Within days, data scientists from a European Southern Observatory and MIT started decoding those ultraviolet pulses. At first, they appeared meaningless, a repetitive burst fluctuating between 2 intensities. But after running frequency compression algorithms, one analyst spotted a striking pattern. The pulses matched prime numbers, the universal signature often proposed in SETI research as the simplest way an intelligent civilization might open communication. First 2, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 11. The sequence ran for hours before resetting. The odds of a naturally occurring prime sequence emerging from radiation fluctuations are astronomically low, practically zero. And yet 3 Atlas emitted it with precision. The revelation split the global scientific community. NASA urged caution, labeling it coincidental modulation from rotational dynamics. Loeb and his Harvard team disagreed. He publicly declared this was no longer an astronomical event. It was a message. Soon, smaller observatories from Japan to Chile independently confirmed the data. Whatever 3I Atlas was, it no longer behaved like debris or even a passive body. It acted like a system, a machine executing a coded protocol in response to solar interaction. And it had just resumed transmitting. To probe further, the James Webb Space Telescope was redirected toward 3I Atlas, its instruments tuned for hyperspectral imaging. What captured sent shock waves through every scientific institution. Beneath the object's reflective surface, Webb detected a geometric structure, a lattice-like framework running beneath its crust, formed of repeating hexagonal plates aligned with its rotation axis. It was not random, not fractured, not natural. Each plate measured precisely the same dimension, reflecting light in mathematically perfect intervals. Webb's analysis indicated the structure consisted of a highly conductive nickel-titanium alloy with atomic purity higher than anything found in nature. Put simply, 3I Atlas wasn't merely unusual. It was engineered. The discovery was quietly verified by spectroscopic data from JWST's NIR spec instrument, which revealed controlled polarization shifts as if the object's outer layer were adjusting itself in real time to minimize glare. This wasn't a rock. It was something built to hide, adapt, and survive interstellar travel. But if it truly was a craft, the question haunting scientists worldwide remained simple. Where was the pilot? On the night of its reappearance, something unprecedented took place. Without warning, the rhythmic ultraviolet pulses stopped. For 12 full hours, 3I Atlas went dark, completely inert. Then, at precisely 2:17 Universal Time Coordinated, the object executed a sudden measurable adjustment in its velocity vector. It wasn't deflection from radiation or gravity. It was course correction. Its trajectory shifted by 0.09 degrees, a tiny angle, yet one no natural body could achieve without external propulsion. The maneuver set it on a new path away from Jupiter's orbit and toward the outer solar system, accelerating at 14 meters per square second, far beyond any known cometary outgassing. Observatories scrambled to recalculate projections. The new route would carry it toward the heliopause, the boundary between our solar system and interstellar space, but not randomly. Its exit trajectory aligned almost perfectly with the coordinates of its original inbound path, as if returning home before vanishing once more into the deep. 3 Atlas emitted one final ultraviolet pulse. This time it wasn't a sequence. It was a single sustained beam lasting exactly 13 minutes and 37 seconds, long enough to be recorded, analyzed, and archived. Its spectrum carried something that changed everything. A faint encoded signature resembling structured binary information. For the first time in history, an interstellar object may have not only visited our solar system, it may have spoken back. 4-day scientists worldwide analyzed the final ultraviolet transmission from 3 Atlas. At first, it resembled static, random fluctuations buried in cosmic noise. But when a research team at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics applied Fourier transformations to isolate frequency harmonics, the noise began to form shape. It wasn't random. The beam-held structure, a pattern of binary modulations too precise to be natural. The sequence repeated every 13 minutes and 37 seconds, the exact duration of the original pulse, as though time itself were encoded in the message. The data wasn't broadcasting outward. It was reflecting. A mirror signal built to respond to the electromagnetic signature of the instruments watching it. In other words, 3 Atlas wasn't just sending. It was listening. When a message was reconstructed visually, what appeared on the screen silenced the entire lab. A three-dimensional fractal structure, layers of repeating hexagons forming a perfect spiral identical to the internal lattice James Webb had imaged beneath the object's surface. Within that fractal lay an embedded mathematical ratio, 1.618, the golden constant of natural growth found everywhere from nautilus shells to spiral galaxies. To biologists, it resembled cellular replication. To physicists, it looked like an equation for gravitational symmetry. To some, it looked like a signature, the universe's own handwriting encoded in geometry and now written back to us from across the stars. Governments tried to contain the data, but the signal had already gone public. Independent observatories verified that faint echoes of the same pulse had appeared across multiple frequencies of the solar wind, as if the transmission had reverberated through space itself, imprinting on the fabric of our heliosphere. Every time scientists replayed the data, the structure shifted slightly, as though evolving, adapting, reacting to human interference. One researcher described it best. It's as if it knows it's being watched. Soon after, Loeb updated his OEP scale again. For the first time, he assigned an object level 9, one step below confirmed extraterrestrial technology. In his report, he wrote, 3 Atlas demonstrated controlled propulsion, directed emission, and now information symmetry. The odds of this being natural are indistinguishable from 0. His conclusion was simple but devastating. 3 Atlas may not have been an artifact of alien design, but a messenger, a vessel transmitting the signature of an intelligence older than any civilization we can imagine. Then on the morning of September 21st, something strange occurred. All monitoring stations tracking the fading trajectory of 3 Atlas detected a simultaneous spike in cosmic microwave background noise, the faint echo of the Big Bang itself. The signal carried the same frequency ratio as the final pulse. For a fraction of a second, the background of the universe answered. And just like that, it was gone. The object slipped beyond the heliopause, leaving behind only the data, a code no one has yet deciphered, but that every scientist agrees was deliberate. 3 Atlas didn't merely visit our solar system. It left a mark, a proof that the universe isn't silent, that intelligence isn't ours alone, and that the stars may be far more alive than we ever dared to believe. As one astronomer wrote in the final line of his report, perhaps we were never meant to find it. Perhaps it found us. So if this story made you question what's really out there, don't look away. Subscribe to this channel. We uncover the truths space agencies won't tell you. Turn on notifications because when 3i Atlas sends its next signal, you'll want to be here to hear it first. I'd love to hear what you think about this, so drop a comment below. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please share this video and subscribe to help the channel grow. Every bit of support counts.